Hello everyone, welcome back to another Murdle mystery. In today's video, we're going to be solving the mystery of the no longer living golf instructor. Was it too much to ask for one vacation to pass without a murderer? This time, a golf instructor was killed at an expensive country club. Excuse me. Here are the suspects: Uncle Midnight, Silverton the Legend, and Judge Pine. The weapons are a poison cocktail, a bottle of wine, and the greenskeeper's chainsaw. Lastly, the locations are the tennis court, the caddy shack, and the men's lounge. Each suspect brought one weapon to one location, but only one was the murderer today. Logical knew that proper deduction could only come from any analysis of evidence. And unfortunately, we don't have any evidence. So this is going to be a tough case. We only have less amount of suspects, weapons, and locations. And we don't have evidence. We only have clues. Basically, the clue is that the greenskeeper's chainsaw was not in the men's lounge. So we're going to cross that out. A brown hair was found on the tennis court. So we have to check on the suspect cards to figure out who has brown hair. We have Uncle Midnight, Silverton has silver hair, and Judge Pine has black hair. That means that Uncle Midnight was at the tennis court. And now we gotta figure out their statements. Then, while holding his notebook, he took the statements of the three suspects, knowing the innocent would always tell the truth. Should I say, tell the truth, since there's no S in it, while the guilty would always lie. By deducting which of them must be lying, logical would be able to identify who done it. And I may have to use a hint for this. So Uncle Midnight says, "Hey now, you're an all-star, get your game on, go play." No. That's not what he said. I'm just playing around. Basically what he said, "Hey now, a poison cocktail was in the caddy shack." Silverton the Legend said, "This is how it happened. I was in the caddy shack." And then Judge Pine says, "All I know is I brought a bottle of wine." For some reason, their statements are not as clear of which one is lying. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to use a hint for this, because there's just no way I could solve it. Uncle Midnight was standing on the tennis court. Yes, I already know that because the clue says so. Silverton the Legend was standing in the caddy shack. So Silverton the Legend was telling the truth. Is it a she? It didn't say specifically if it's a female. Well, anyways, this individual states that they were at the caddy shack. So this person must be telling the truth. And it's got to be this one. That means that Judge Pine was at the men's lounge. But for some reason, Judge Pine is a female, right? Yes, she's a female. So what is she doing here? The forces of the occult are telling that there was a bottle of wine somewhere in the men's lounge. So apparently Judge Pine is probably telling the truth about the bottle of wine. So we're going to check mark that. The forces of ocular telling that the poison cocktail was somewhere on the tennis court. Interesting. because Uncle Midnight states that it was at the Caddy Shack. So now I know that Uncle Midnight was lying. So the poison cocktail is at the tennis court. And we also know that the bottle of wine was at the Caddy Shack, which means that the chainsaw is at the Caddy Shack. So now I have a feeling I know which weapon that goes to this individual. So what I do know is that Silverton the Legend was at the Caddy Shack, which means that this person has the chainsaw. So that means that Uncle Midnight was the culprit. Uncle Midnight used the poison cocktail at the tennis court because the hint says that the poison cocktail was at the tennis court, but in act, which is but Uncle Midnight says that it was in the Caddy Shack, which is a lie. So I'm gonna make this accusation, excuse me, and it was accurate. It took about 6 minutes because I used a hint, and I wasted too much time on the video, but for me, it was all worth it. Okay, now it's time to do something a little bit different before I end this video, and that is to do a daily mini Murdle. And today's mystery is the considered the ironic weapon. One of Logical's first cases was back when he was in deduction college and he solved the murder of a visiting speaker. So as usual, 3 suspects, 3 weapons, 3 locations. Admiral Navy, Judge Pine, and Mayor Honey are the suspects. A poisoned apple, a sharp pencil, and a pair of safety goggles is the weapons, or are the weapons. And lastly, the radio station, the history building, and the freshman dormitory are the locations for this mystery. So each suspect brought 1 weapon to 1 location, but only one was the murderer for today. And to start things off, we do have evidence that states that a pair of safety goggles was clearly used to commit the crime. So we do know how the person did it. We just gotta figure out where and who. So let's check this out. Judge Pine hated the person who brought a poisoned apple. So it's definitely clear that she does not have the poisoned apple. Then Judge Pine was at a place according to David Sidian's unauthorized autobiography. Let's check this out. I recall the events surrounding the death of my husband rather clearly. But what was I doing in the history building? But by the dawn of the next day, one person would be dead and another would be their murderer. So Judge Pine was at the history building, which is this one right here. Next up, Mayor Honey never sets foot in the freshman dormitory, which means that Mayor Honey is at the radio station, which means that the person who is in the dormitory is Admiral Navy. And there's a message that we need to decode, but we can't decode it with the decoder ring because it's a daily mini Murdle. So we have to use this question mark that tells us that Admiral Navy had the pencil, the sharp pencil, and that's technically it. He has the sharp pencil. So we're going to do this, which means only one thing, ladies and gentlemen. Judge Pine is the killer because he has the sharp pencil, and there's only 1 slot for the poison apple. So Mayor Honey has the poison apple, and of course Judge Pine has the safety goggles. Remember, the evidence states that a pair of safety goggles was clearly used to commit the crime. So it's obviously clear that of who done it and where right now. But first, I gotta make sure I gather everything that I know in the correct order. So, it's in the history building, and it's Judge Pine. She's the culprit. And there you have it. It took about 3 minutes, which is not long. But this is like a daily mini Murdle that's supposed to be a little bit easier. And it's more like a tutorial thing and all that stuff. But I hope you all enjoy this kind of content. I know it's been a while since I do murder mystery puzzles online. But I'm hoping that I can get the Murdle books. Especially if I do go to the library, I could always like do this and that. It'll be so much fun. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, turn on these notifications so you won't miss a single upload. And I'll see you all in the next video.